Have you ever found yourself feeling tense for no clear reason? Maybe you're sitting quietly, reading or watching TV, and suddenly your chest feels tight, your breathing turns shallow, or your heart begins to race a little. You try to relax, but your body won't let go. After 60, many of us experience stress differently than we used to. It's not always the loud kind with shouting or fast deadlines. Sometimes it's the silent kind that builds up inside. Worries about health, family, finances, or just the changes that come with aging. And the truth is, we can't always control the stressors in life, but we can control how we respond to them. And that response starts with something simple, powerful, and always within reach: your breath. In today's video, I'm going to share 3 breathing techniques that are easy to learn and incredibly effective at calming the body and mind. Especially for seniors, you don't need any equipment. You don't need to be flexible, strong, or athletic. All you need is a quiet moment and a willingness to try something new. These techniques, box breathing, the 4-7-8 method, and diaphragmatic or belly breathing, have been used by everyone from Navy SEALs to nurses to everyday folks like you and me to reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, sleep better, and feel more in control. And here's the best part. Breathing this way doesn't take hours or fancy training. Just a few minutes a day can lead to big changes. You might feel calmer, sleep more deeply, think more clearly, and handle life's challenges with a little more ease. We'll go through each technique step by step with clear instructions and real-life examples from older adults who've made breathing a part of their daily routine and found peace because of it. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, restless, or simply need a way to unwind without medication or side effects, this video is for you. The power is in your lungs are on, and it's time to use it. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1, why breathing changes after 60 and why it matters. When Mary turned 68, she began noticing something subtle but persistent. She wasn't out of shape, but simple things like climbing the stairs or bending down to tie her shoes left her feeling slightly winded. Even when she was just sitting in her favorite chair reading a book, she would catch herself holding her breath or taking shallow, fast breaths without even realizing it. At first, she thought maybe it was just the cold weather or a little anxiety, but as the months went on, it became clear that her breathing had changed, and not for the better. Like many older adults, Mary didn't realize that the way we breathe evolves as we age, and that those changes can quietly affect nearly every part of our well-being. After the age of 60, several natural changes begin to take place in the lungs and respiratory system. The muscles around the chest and diaphragm, which help us inhale and exhale, may weaken. The lung tissue itself becomes less elastic, meaning it doesn't expand and contract as easily as it once did. The rib cage may stiffen, making it harder to fully fill the lungs with air. Even posture can play a role, especially if years of sitting or spinal changes from aging have reduced the space in the chest cavity. All of this leads to shallower breathing, the kind that only fills the upper part of the lungs and doesn't allow for a full exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Shallow breathing isn't just inefficient. It can send false signals to the brain that something is wrong, triggering the body's stress response and making us feel more anxious, tense, or fatigued. The connection between breath and the nervous system is powerful. When we breathe rapidly or shallowly, often without noticing, our bodies enter a state of mild alert. The heart rate increases, muscles tense, and the brain becomes more reactive. Over time, this state of fight or flight, even at a low level, can lead to chronic stress, poor sleep, digestive issues, and a weakened immune response. And because these symptoms often show up gradually, many seniors don't recognize that the root cause is as simple as how they're breathing. But here's the encouraging part. Just as shallow breathing can increase stress, Deep and intentional breathing can reverse it. Slow, full breaths signal the body that it is safe. The heart slows, the mind calms, and the nervous system shifts into what's called rest and digest mode, the opposite of fight or flight. With regular practice, deep breathing can lower blood pressure, improve oxygen flow to the brain, help regulate blood sugar, and even reduce inflammation. For seniors especially, learning to breathe well isn't just a relaxation tool. It's a vital act of self-care. Mary eventually spoke with her doctor, who reassured her that her symptoms weren't uncommon. She was introduced to simple breathing exercises and began practicing for just 5 minutes every morning. Within a week, she felt a difference. She felt steadier. Her mind didn't race as much. She slept better. And perhaps, most surprisingly, she felt more in control. Like her body was listening again after years of silent struggle. If you've ever felt tired for no reason, anxious without a clear cause, or caught yourself breathing fast even while resting, you're not alone. These are gentle warnings from your body asking for a return to calm. Breathing is one of the few functions we do both automatically and voluntarily, which means we can use it as a tool. It's always available, always with us, and it can be trained at any age. Coming up next, we'll dive into the first of 3 techniques you can begin using today to regain that sense of calm and balance. It's called box breathing, and it's so simple that even just 1 minute of practice can have a powerful effect on your mind and body. Let's take a closer look in number 2. Number 2, box breathing, the calm within seconds technique. When George, a 72-year-old veteran, found himself sitting in the waiting room of his doctor's office with sweaty palms and a racing heart, he wasn't surprised. Medical visits had always made him nervous, and now that he was older, the anxiety seemed to hit even harder. He tried distracting himself with a magazine, but nothing worked. Then he remembered something his granddaughter, a yoga teacher, had shown him a few weeks earlier, a simple breathing technique called box breathing. He closed his eyes and began silently counting. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. He repeated it slowly, again and again. After just a few rounds, something remarkable happened. His shoulders dropped, his hands stopped trembling, and his breath, once fast and shallow, became slow and steady. By the time the nurse called his name, George felt like a completely different person. Box breathing is one of the most effective and accessible breathing techniques for calming the mind and body quickly. Originally used by Navy SEALs to stay calm under pressure, it has since made its way into hospitals, therapy offices, and homes around the world, including into the lives of many older adults seeking peace and clarity in moments of stress. The practice gets its name from the shape of a box, 4 equal parts, just like the 4 sides of a square. You inhale slowly for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4 counts, exhale gently for 4 counts, and then hold again for 4 counts before starting the cycle over. This pattern creates a steady, rhythmic breathing experience that brings focus to the present moment and slows the body's stress response. The science behind box breathing is surprisingly powerful. When you intentionally slow your breath and hold it in a controlled pattern, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest, relaxation, and repair. Your heart rate begins to drop. Cortisol, the stress hormone, decreases. Blood pressure normalizes, and your thoughts begin to quiet. It's like flipping a switch in your body that says, "You're safe now. It's okay to relax." This makes box breathing especially helpful during moments of anxiety, frustration, or overwhelm. And unlike other stress relief techniques that require tools, time, or space, box breathing can be done anytime, anywhere. Whether you're lying in bed, waiting in line at the pharmacy, or just sitting in your living room after a long day. For seniors, this technique is particularly powerful because it's both gentle and effective. You don't need to be physically active or flexible. You don't need to memorize complicated instructions. And you don't need more than 1 minute to start feeling the difference. Even just 3 rounds, that's less than 2 minutes, can bring a noticeable shift in how you feel. The repetition creates a sense of control, which is something many older adults find comforting, especially when life feels uncertain or overwhelming. George began using box breathing daily. He started each morning with just 5 minutes of it before breakfast, and over time, he noticed his reactions changing. He didn't snap at small frustrations. He felt steadier during conversations with doctors and family. He even said he felt lighter, as if some of the tension he had carried for years had finally started to loosen. It wasn't magic, it was breath. If you've never tried box breathing, I encourage you to give it a chance. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes if that feels safe. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it gently for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. Then hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat at least 3 times, and notice what happens. You don't need to force anything. Just follow the rhythm and allow your body to settle. Have you ever experienced a moment where everything felt too fast, too loud, or out of your control? Box breathing might be the tool you didn't know you needed. It won't solve all of life's problems, but it can give you just enough space to think clearly, speak gently, and move forward with a bit more peace in your step. In the next section, we'll explore a breathing method that not only calms the nerves but also prepares your body for deep, restorative sleep. It's called the 4-7-8 method, and for many seniors, it has become a trusted ritual before bedtime. Let's dive into number 3. Number 3, the 4-7-8 method, a natural sleep trigger. Margaret, a 70-year-old retired librarian, had never struggled with sleep until a few years ago. Her days were calm, her evenings were quiet, but as soon as she lay in bed, her mind began to race. She would stare at the ceiling, think about old memories, future appointments, aches in her joints, and even things she couldn't change. She tried warm milk, soft music, and even over-the-counter sleep aids, but nothing gave her true rest. Then during a visit with a friend, someone mentioned a simple breathing technique called the 4-7-8 method. Skeptical but willing to try anything, Margaret gave it a go. And to her surprise, something shifted. Within minutes, her body felt heavier, her thoughts slowed down, and sleep came naturally. The 4-7-8 method is a powerful yet gentle breathing pattern designed to calm the nervous system and trigger the body's natural relaxation response. Developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, a physician known for his work in integrative medicine, this technique is rooted in ancient yogic practices that focus on the connection between breath and mental clarity. The structure is simple. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold the breath for a count of 7, and exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8, then repeat. Just 4 cycles can create a dramatic shift in how your mind and body feel. It works because the extended breath holding and slow exhalation stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for rest, digestion, and calm. When you hold your breath for 7 seconds, you give your body time to absorb oxygen more fully. The long, controlled exhale for 8 seconds helps release carbon dioxide and slow the heartbeat. This gentle rhythm brings the body into balance and reduces the overactive thinking that often keeps us up at night. For older adults, especially those who struggle with insomnia, anxiety, or the racing mind that sometimes accompanies aging, the 4-7-8 method offers an effective and medication-free way to reset the nervous system. The technique is especially helpful when used as part of a bedtime routine. Practicing it just before lying down, or even while in bed, can act as a signal to the brain that it's time to transition from waking activity to rest. Unlike sleeping pills, which can leave you groggy and dependent, the 4-7-8 method empowers you to work with your body, not against it, and it costs nothing, takes no more than a few minutes, and can be done without moving a muscle. Margaret made the 4-7-8 method a part of her nightly ritual. She would dim the lights, settle into bed, place one hand gently on her chest, and begin. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. The first night she tried it, she fell asleep before she even finished the 4th round. And it wasn't just falling asleep, it was staying asleep, waking up less frequently, and feeling more refreshed in the morning. After years of disrupted nights, she finally found something that worked. What surprised her most was not just the effect on her sleep, but how much calmer she felt during the day. She began using the 478 method during stressful phone calls, while waiting in line, and even when feeling overwhelmed in traffic. It became a tool she could carry in her back pocket, one breath at a time. If you've ever found yourself lying awake, wishing your mind would just quiet down, this technique is worth trying. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to count exactly. What matters is the rhythm, the intention, and the willingness to slow down. Try it tonight. Sit comfortably or lie flat. Close your eyes. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath for 7, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8. Do this for 4 cycles and notice how your body responds. You may find that your thoughts begin to drift away, your chest feels lighter, and sleep begins to feel possible again. There's something profoundly empowering about using your own breath to reclaim rest. In a world full of noise, medications, and distractions, this technique reminds us that peace is always available, quietly waiting inside of us. In the next part of our journey, we'll shift our focus to a form of breathing that reconnects us to our core. Literally, it's called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, and for many older adults, it brings not only calm, but also strength, stability, and a deep sense of presence. Let's explore that together in number 4. Number 4, diaphragmatic breathing. Reconnecting with the belly. Helen, a 74-year-old retired piano teacher, had always carried herself with grace and calm. But in recent years, she began noticing something odd. Her breathing felt tight, shallow, and stuck high in her chest. She would catch herself holding her breath during simple tasks like folding laundry or driving to the store. There were no big panic attacks, no dramatic symptoms, just a quiet, persistent feeling of being off balance. When she mentioned it to her doctor, they recommended she explore diaphragmatic breathing. At first, she laughed. "I've been breathing my whole life," she said. "How complicated can it be?" But within days of practicing, she realized something profound. She hadn't truly breathed in years. Diaphragmatic breathing, often called belly breathing, is the most natural and efficient way for humans to breathe. Yet it's something many of us unlearn as we get older. As infants, we breathe from the belly without even thinking. You can see a baby's stomach gently rise and fall with each breath. But with time, posture, stress, and even cultural habits train us to pull our breath higher into the chest. This shallow upper chest breathing limits oxygen intake and keeps us in a low-level state of tension. For older adults, it can contribute to fatigue, anxiety, poor sleep, and even issues with digestion and balance. The magic of diaphragmatic breathing lies in its simplicity. When you breathe deeply into the diaphragm, your belly expands as your lungs fill with air. The diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle beneath the lungs, contracts downward, allowing your lungs to draw in more oxygen. As you exhale, your belly gently falls, and the diaphragm relaxes upward. This type of breathing massages internal organs, improves oxygen exchange, and signals the nervous system that it's safe to relax. The result is a slower heart rate, lower blood pressure, improved circulation, and a deep sense of inner calm. It also helps the body rid itself of excess carbon dioxide, which can cause dizziness and discomfort when it builds up due to shallow breathing. Helen began her practice by simply lying down with one hand on her chest and the other on her belly. Her goal was to keep the chest hand still and let the belly hand rise and fall with each breath. At first, it felt unnatural. She had spent years breathing from her chest, always holding herself upright and composed. But the more she allowed her belly to soften, the more relaxed her entire body felt. Her shoulders dropped, her jaw loosened, her thoughts slowed. She began to incorporate this breathing throughout her day, when she sat at the piano, when she drank her morning tea, even while talking on the phone. The shift was gentle but profound. She no longer felt like she was carrying tension in her chest. She felt more grounded, more connected to her body, and more at ease in her own skin. One of the greatest benefits of diaphragmatic breathing for seniors is that it can be practiced in nearly any position, lying down, sitting, or even standing. It requires no equipment, no preparation, and no special environment. Just a moment of awareness, It can also help reduce shortness of breath in those with chronic respiratory conditions like COPD or asthma, making it a valuable lifelong skill. And because the diaphragm plays a role in posture and core strength, regular practice may even help with balance and stability, key factors for aging safely and confidently. If you've ever felt like you're only using a small part of your breath, or that your breathing has become tight or disconnected, diaphragmatic breathing may be your path back to ease. Try placing one hand on your belly and one on your chest. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, letting your belly rise. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6, letting your belly fall. Do this slowly, gently, and without force. Notice how your body responds, not just in your lungs, but in your whole being. Breathing from the belly isn't just about relaxation. It's about reclaiming the natural rhythm your body was designed to follow. It brings you home to yourself, to your center, and reminds you that peace is not something you chase, but something you return to, one breath at a time. Up next, we'll talk about how to fit these breathing techniques into your everyday life. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or right before bed, creating a breathing routine can make all the difference. Let's talk about that in number 5. Number 5, when and where to practice, building a breathing routine. For Samuel, a 76-year-old grandfather of 4, retirement brought peace, but also unpredictability. Some days were filled with visits from family and laughter around the dinner table. Others were quieter, with long hours spent alone, reading or walking slowly around the block. What surprised him most wasn't the stillness, but how often his mind would wander toward worry. Sometimes about money, sometimes about health, and sometimes just about the world in general. He started practicing breathing techniques after his doctor mentioned it during a routine checkup. But like many people, he struggled to remember when to do it. He would try it once in a while, feel better briefly, then forget for a few days. It wasn't until Samuel created a simple breathing routine tied to the rhythms of his day that it truly became part of his life. Breathing exercises are most effective when they become a habit, something as natural as brushing your teeth or making your morning coffee. The beauty of mindful breathing is that it doesn't require a big commitment or drastic changes to your routine. All it takes is a little intention and consistency. The best times to practice are the moments that already exist. Just after waking up, before meals, while waiting in line, or right before bedtime. These are gentle pauses in your day when your body is already transitioning from one state to another, and your breath can support that shift. Morning breathing sets the tone for your entire day. Starting with 3 to 5 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing or box breathing can clear mental fog, reduce tension, and prepare your nervous system for whatever lies ahead. It's a way of telling your body, I'm in control. I can move through this day with calm. You can practice while sitting on the edge of your bed, with the window open and sunlight streaming in, or while your morning tea is brewing. Even 1 minute of focused breathing first thing in the morning can create a ripple effect of steadiness and awareness that lasts for hours. Throughout the day, there are countless hidden opportunities to return to your breath. Waiting at a red light, standing in the grocery store checkout, sitting in a doctor's office, or walking through a quiet park. These in-between spaces are perfect for a few rounds of 4-7-8 breathing or a moment of gentle belly breathing. Rather than reaching for your phone or letting your thoughts drift into worry, you can use those minutes to reset. Breathing with intention in these everyday moments can become a secret source of strength, invisible to others, but deeply calming to you. Evening is perhaps the most important time to breathe with awareness. As the body winds down, stress from the day can linger in the form of tight muscles, racing thoughts, or an uneasy stomach. Practicing calming breaths before bed, especially the 4-7-8 method, can help your body shift into sleep mode naturally without relying on medications or distractions. This becomes especially important as we age, since sleep patterns often become more fragile. A simple breathing practice done while lying in bed, lights dimmed, can serve as a natural sedative for both the body and mind. Samuel created a simple rhythm for himself. 3 minutes of box breathing in the morning, a deep belly breathing pause before lunch, and 4-7-8 breathing in bed every night. He didn't need a timer, an app, or special music. He just needed a little commitment and some quiet. Over time, he began to notice subtle changes. He felt less irritable. He didn't dread his doctor visits. His blood pressure readings improved. And most importantly, he felt like he had a tool, something reliable, gentle, and always available. If you're wondering how to fit breathing into your own life, start small. Choose one moment each day when you can pause for 60 seconds. Breathe in slowly, hold and exhale fully. That one breath can become 2, then 5, then a new habit that supports your body and your heart every day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Coming up next, we'll talk about how to take your breathing practice even further by combining it with gentle movement. When breath and motion work together, something truly powerful happens. Let's explore that in number 6. Number 6, combining breath with movement. Gentle exercises for seniors. When Dennis, a 75-year-old former mail carrier, started feeling stiff in the mornings and more anxious throughout the day, his doctor recommended light stretching or walking to help with circulation and mood. But Dennis had never been the yoga type, and long walks weren't always possible, especially on cold or rainy days. One afternoon, his daughter suggested he try combining gentle breathing with simple movements. Nothing intense, just slow reaching, rolling his shoulders and flexing his feet, all while breathing deeply. Skeptical at first, Dennis gave it a try. He started by simply standing at his kitchen counter, raising his arms as he inhaled and lowering them as he exhaled. The effect was immediate. His heart rate slowed, his mind stopped racing, and his body began to feel like it was working with him, not against him. The connection between breath and movement is deeply rooted in how the human body was designed to function. When we move while breathing intentionally, we increase oxygen flow, reduce physical tension, and enhance our body's sense of balance and rhythm. For older adults, combining breath with light motion can be one of the most accessible and powerful forms of stress relief and physical therapy, and it requires no gym, no equipment, and no previous experience. Even something as simple as a 5-minute breathing walk around your home or yard can reset the nervous system, improve circulation, and help you feel more energized without feeling overwhelmed. One of the most natural ways to begin is to link breath to motion. Inhale slowly as you raise your arms or roll your shoulders back. Exhale gently as you release the motion and lower your arms. This rhythm mimics the way the body moves during everyday activities but adds awareness and control. You can also apply it during seated stretches, breathing in as you reach your arms overhead and breathing out as you fold slightly forward. The breath serves as your guide, creating flow and relaxation with every movement. It doesn't need to be fast. In fact, the slower, the better. Dennis began incorporating breathing with movement into his daily routine. In the morning, he would stand by the window, take 5 deep belly breaths while slowly rotating his arms, and then stretch side to side with each exhale. At night, he'd sit in his favorite chair and gently lift his legs one at a time, while focusing on slow, steady breathing. This simple practice helped loosen his joints, ease the tightness in his chest, and quiet the worries that often build up by bedtime. It became a kind of moving meditation, grounding him not only in his body, but also in the present moment. What makes this practice so effective for seniors is its flexibility. You can do it while sitting, standing, or even lying down. You can do it while waiting for the kettle to boil, brushing your hair, or walking from room to room. The goal is not perfection or performance, it's presence. When you bring your breath into your movements, even the most ordinary actions become calming and intentional. The combination supports joint mobility, lung capacity, emotional regulation, and a greater sense of connection to your body. Many older adults who feel too stiff, tired, or intimidated by structured exercise routines find this approach inviting and sustainable. You're not being asked to stretch farther or move faster, just to move with awareness, letting your breath lead the way. Over time, these small moments of mindful movement build strength, confidence, and clarity, not just physically, but emotionally. If you've ever felt disconnected from your body or unsure of how to start moving again, this could be your way back. Start small. Try standing up, reaching your arms forward as you inhale, and gently letting them fall as you exhale. Do that 3 times and notice the shift. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And the more you'll realize how breath and movement together can transform the way you feel in your own skin. In the next section, we'll look at how to track your progress, celebrate the small wins, and notice the many ways these breathing practices begin to improve your daily life. Let's explore that in number 7. Number 7, tracking your progress, how to know it's working. When Eleanor, a 78-year-old widow living in upstate New York, first started practicing breathing exercises, she wasn't sure what to expect. Her doctor had suggested it as a way to help with her blood pressure and anxiety, and although she didn't see how a few deep breaths could really make a difference, she was open to trying. She started small, 3 minutes in the morning, a few slow breaths before bed, and didn't notice much at first. But after about 2 weeks, she caught herself smiling for no reason one afternoon. She felt lighter. She wasn't as tense when the phone rang. She had more energy during the day and started sleeping more soundly at night. That was when she realized something was happening. The breathing was working. One of the most powerful, and often overlooked, parts of building a new wellness habit is noticing the change it brings. When it comes to breathing exercises, the progress may be subtle at first, but it's there. The tension in your shoulders might slowly melt away. Your sleep might deepen. Your reactions to stress might feel a little slower, a little softer. These improvements aren't always dramatic, but they are meaningful, and they build on each other over time. Tracking your progress isn't about measuring perfection. It's about paying attention to how you feel. Start by checking in with yourself before and after a short breathing session. Ask, do I feel calmer, more focused, a little lighter? Write down a quick note in a notebook or on a calendar. Even one word like better or clear can be enough to help you reflect later. You can also track physical changes, such as how often you wake up at night, how tense your body feels throughout the day, or whether your blood pressure readings become more stable. Some people find that keeping a small journal helps them stay motivated, especially when they flip back a few weeks and realize just how far they've come. What's beautiful about this kind of progress is that it's deeply personal. For one person, the most noticeable change might be falling asleep faster. For another, it might be a calmer mood, less irritability, or fewer headaches. For someone like Eleanor, it was realizing that she no longer needed to brace herself before every phone call or doctor's appointment. Her body had found a new way to cope, not by shutting down or fighting, but by simply breathing through the moment. Breathing is not a quick fix, and it's not a competition. It's a gentle partnership with your body. The more consistently you show up for it, the more your body responds with balance, ease, and strength. You might not notice it all at once, but one day you'll find yourself in a situation that would have made you anxious or overwhelmed before, and you'll realize that you're okay, that you're breathing through it, that you're grounded. You can also invite someone else into your practice. Sharing your progress with a friend, spouse, or even a grandchild can add a sense of joy and connection. You might find yourself encouraging others to try it too, not as a cure-all, but as a simple act of self-kindness. Some older adults even enjoy using basic breathing apps or setting a gentle alarm each day as a reminder to pause and breathe. It doesn't need to be fancy, just consistent. If you've come this far, you've already taken the most important step. You've made space in your life for your breath to guide you back to calm. Every time you pause to breathe deeply, you're investing in your health, your presence, and your peace. And little by little, breath by breath, those moments of calm become part of who you are. Now that we've walked through how and why breathing techniques work and how to recognize their benefits in your own life, let's bring everything together in a final reflection. In the conclusion, we'll explore how these small breaths can lead to a larger transformation in how you age, how you feel, and how you live each day. Conclusion. Now that we've taken this journey through the power of breath, from understanding how breathing changes after 60, to learning techniques like box breathing, 4-7-8, and diaphragmatic breathing to finding ways to build a daily routine and track your progress, one thing becomes beautifully clear. Your breath is not just a function, it's a lifeline, a tool, a quiet source of healing that has been with you all along. For many older adults, life after 60 brings a mix of emotions: gratitude, uncertainty, freedom, fear. Bodies change, rhythms shift, and the world can feel overwhelming at times. But the breath offers something steady, something no one can take away. With each inhale, you invite calm. With each exhale, you release tension. And over time, these small, intentional breaths add up to something far greater than relaxation. They bring strength, balance, and emotional clarity. You don't need a gym membership, expensive equipment, or hours of spare time to feel better. You just need a few quiet minutes and a willingness to pause. Whether you're sitting in your favorite chair, lying in bed, walking down the driveway, or waiting for your tea to brew, your breath is right there, ready to support you. Every day, every moment. If there's one thing to take away from today's video, let it be this: peace doesn't come from outside. It begins with something as simple and sacred as the breath in your lungs. And it's never too late to come home to that peace, one breath at a time. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I hope these techniques bring you rest when you're restless, calm when you're anxious, and a sense of inner power that reminds you just how capable and resilient you truly are. Until next time, take a deep breath and be well. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.